This is the MXR Distortion Plus guitar pedal. It's one of my favorite distortion pedals, but I find it a little less reliable than some other pedals, which is a shame because of the beautiful sound you get out of this. This pedal's been around since the 1970s. A lot of guitarists have used it. Randy Rhoads apparently has used it. Jerry Garcia used it in the late 70s. Tom York is a big fan, has one of them. That's not why I got it. I got it because I read online that Bob Mould of Husker Du used this, and it was part of his signature sound. So Bob Mould is a lot of these kind of open string ringing chords, and with the MXR pedal you can add just a touch of distortion. And what you notice is the distortion isn't overwhelming the clean sound, so you get this good blend. Now other distortion pedals can approximate this, and I'm sure experts online are going to tell me that you can definitely do this better with other pedals, but I found the simplicity of cranking up the distortion to just a fraction of the sound, just to not even a third, gives you this beautiful sound, beautiful crunching distortion behind you, and that's just a lot easier to work with if you're the type of guitarist who likes to play sort of like Bob Mould, where you're playing a lot of full chords. You can do other things too. You turn the distortion all the way up and you get some pretty heavy sounds as well. Problems with the pedal, frankly, and I looked online to see whether this is just me, but the volume is a little strange. I find that the clean tone and then the distorted, there's not a huge amount of difference between those two, and frankly sometimes I've noticed that the distortion volume is a little lower than the clean volume, and I have the output turned all the way up. The beauty of the pedal, as I said, is the simplicity. It's got just two controls, output and distortion. The output for the volume and the distortion for how much distortion you want to add. Unlike some other pedals, there's no tone control, there's no mixing, there's no filtering like on the Rat pedal. But the output, I have it cranked all the way up. I looked at a review online and the guy was saying the same thing. He found it a little bit quiet and had to crank the volume and wondered if anybody else out there had the same experience. Now I think with the reissues, the newer versions, perhaps it's less of an issue. You don't have to have it fully cranked. Maybe I have a slightly older beat up model, I can't say, but I went for a specific vintage piece of kit because I really wanted to get the Bob Mould sound. Now these go for a little bit more money these days online, so if you aren't sure you want to wrestle with that potential volume issue and you want to try out one in the store, the brand new one, and just see for yourself whether you find that volume issue to be a problem. So that's the one weakness of the pedal. The second weakness of the pedal is that, and this is not going to apply to the newer models that have lead and a power supply, they're going to plug into an AC adapter. The older models don't have the AC adapter, they're battery only, 9-volt battery only. So you have to actually unscrew the back of it, take out the battery, replace the battery. And the problem with that is it's hard to know when the battery's dying. I was actually lining it up earlier, just testing it out, and I noticed that the volume was just that little bit lower than even I expected from the pedal, and I wondered, is that because the battery's fading? I went and bought a new battery, put it in, it's better, it's still not great with the volume, you still have to have it cranked. But if you're in the middle of a live show and you're just wondering, when did I last change that battery? It's sounding a little quiet. That is not the sort of confidence-inspiring reliability that you want from your rig when you're playing a live set. So that particular issue with the battery fade leading to more volume problems, that might actually be more of a vintage pedal, vintage model issue than an issue you're going to get if you buy a new model at Guitar Center today or on Amazon today. And frankly, the ones that you can get on Amazon today are going to be significantly cheaper than if you went and bought an older model. That said, it's still a beautiful sound, so depending on how much you want to suffer for your art and for your sound, you know, I'll leave it up to you. But personally, as much as I love this pedal, I rarely use it. So I love it, but I think I'll go back to the vintage Rat, which I think I want to spend a little time reviewing that at some point.